All right. Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Wait, wave your hands if you can hear me, like the wave, just there, like, just warm up, right? There we go. Love it. Hello. Welcome. Oh, that was such a warm welcome. I should have everyone start waving whenever we come in now. Thank you all so much for coming to the workshop. I'm Dr. Lakisha Lockhart. I am sorry that I am not able to be there in person. I had a 7-month-old that has a double ear infection and would not sleep and is not a happy person right now, as well as a 3-year-old who mysteriously got sick and has a temperature that keeps spiking to 102 for some reason. So needed to be here to handle that most sacred duty of being a parent. But I am so glad that APCE is allowing me to make this possible still via Zoom and the OWL. And I know Catherine and Lucy have been wonderful. And I'm thankful for whoever is running the screen back there. I don't know who you are, but I see you behind the screen. Thank you, tech person. And also big shouts out to Lindsay, who will be kind of my hands and feet there. Lindsay, please stand up so people can see what you look like. You know, there she is. Yes, please. Yes, she's going to be wonderful and amazing. So she's going to kind of be my hands and feet there while I am on the screen. So hopefully, I mean, it's not the full experience, but it'll be enough to get us through today to talk about embodied faith. So thank you for your flexibility and for signing up for this particular workshop. Like most workshops, I like to start with just a quick word of prayer, if you don't mind. So just join me in whatever position feels good and comfortable for you. It'll be really quick. Lord, thank you for this day, this space, this time, this moment. We ask that you just move in a mighty way today. Let us find out something new about ourselves, about a friend, whatever it is, just touch us in a way that we need to hear or see today, even if that person is me. We just love you and we thank you in this space. Have your way. And it's in your name we pray. Amen. And we're going to be doing some movement today. So I'm going to invite us just to do a quick little shake up, shake down. So we're going to start at our feet and work our way up. And don't worry, we're all going to look silly together. So no shame here. All right. So start at your feet and do some wiggles and work your way all the way up. Yep. See, I know I look really foolish on the screen. So we're doing this together and then come all the way back down. There you go. And one more time, back up. And all the way back down. Okay, wonderful. So you're ready. Deep breath in, let it out. And the biggest thing is that this workshop is about body. So you do what your body needs. If you need to have a snack, feel free, although being on the screen and I can't have a snack, I will feel some kind of way seeing you eat in my face, but it's okay. We will work through it. If you need to use the restroom, whatever you need to do, I know some people are wearing masks. Please respect people's space as they wish. So just keep that in mind, you know, personal space, asking people, can I touch, can I see, you know, let's care for each other in this space. And so with that, all of you should have 2 things. Well, a couple of things. One, there should be a puzzle in the center of your puzzle, a puzzle in the center of your table, not the center of the puzzle. Hello, new friend. Come on in, sit at a table where there's a puzzle. Feel free, once you put your bag down, to grab an item that is speaking to you, an item or items. There are several things. Grab whatever item or items are speaking to you. Go ahead. We'll wait. Go grab an item. So while that wonderful individual is grabbing an item, everyone should have a puzzle on your table, and you also have an item, correct? Let me know when our friend has grabbed some items, because I can't tell you the next piece until everyone has their item. But everyone has their item or items. You can have as many things.
Got an item.
Fabulous. Okay, no rush. You can, again, anybody else want to grab another item or 2? You can have as many as you want. Yes, please go run and grab another one. Yes. Come on. You know you want to grab another one. The beach balls are a fair game. The hula hoop is fair game. Tennis balls are fair. Everything is fair game in the room, except for Lindsay. You can't mess with Lindsay, okay? I need Lindsay. Okay. So everyone has their item? Okay. So first, I will also preface that this workshop will probably be different than anything else. We're not starting with introductions. We'll get to that. I'm a very much a Christian educator, practical theologian. We learn by doing. So you are jumping in without any warning, no jacket, no anything. We're just jumping in. So another deep breath. You got this. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and we're going to dive into what's going to happen next. So can everyone see that? Give me a wave. Yes, fabulous. So that's how we're going to communicate. You're just going to wave at me. To make sure we can see. So you picked your item, you sat at a table with a puzzle. Now, whatever items you have to keep. So we'll see who's going to be trying to run away from their table. So we're about to put together these puzzles. All right. Now, how many of you have bubble gum or noisemakers? Anybody? Wave your hand if you have a bubble gum or noisemakers. No? If you have bubble gum or noisemakers, you cannot speak the entire time we are putting this puzzle together. Y'all are about to be so upset with me. If you got markers, paper, paint, canvas, raise your hand. Okay, all of you friends have to not pay attention to what's happening at your table, and I want you to work on a masterpiece with the items that you have. So even though they're going to be putting together a puzzle, you cannot touch, you can't talk, you can't even pay attention. You can't even partake in it at all. Oh, y'all are going to be so mad at me by the end of this, but I promise you, I have intention. We'll just roll with me, okay? How many of you have bandanas or sunglasses? You guys can't see. So now either you put the sunglasses and bandana on, or I'm trusting you to not open your eyes the whole time you're doing this puzzle. That's a lot of trust here, okay? I believe in you. We can do this. All right, how many of you got Play-Doh or yarn or anything that's very hands? You cannot touch the puzzle with your hands. This is not an evil laugh. I promise it's not an evil laugh. I mean, slightly, but not fully. Okay, the next piece. How many of you got the beach balls, tennis balls, hula hoop, jump rope? How many of you got those? So for those of you that got those, every now and then I'm going to play some music for 60 seconds. And during that 60 seconds, you have to step away from the puzzle and you have to get your dance on. Now, you don't have to fully dance, but you just have to take a break. So if you want to like do a little roll, or you really want to break, whatever you want to do, just you have to do it for a minute. Does everyone understand what they can and cannot do? Are there any questions? And Lindsay, I can't hear all the fullness. So if they have specific questions, please let me know.
Do you guys have questions? None of us can touch the puzzle. None of this group can touch the puzzle.
Sad day for that table.
So they have to just figure it out. Yes. And then do you have a question?
So,
oh, the scissors. Was the scissors mentioned?
Oh, if you got scissors, you can't touch you can't touch either.
Can't touch. Any other questions?
I promise we'll be friends after this, everyone. I promise.
Yes, it'll be fun.
Any more questions? Because once you start working on this puzzle, there are no more questions.
Oh my gosh, I love the bandana with the sunglasses. That's a good look.
Lindsay, please take pictures so I can see.
I will.
Okay. Also, so any other questions before we get ready to jump in? Okay. So the last thing I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to take this screen off, so feel free to take a picture if you need to remember what you can and can't do, is everything you need is in the room. Can't answer any more questions. All I will say is everything you need to complete your puzzles.
Let me ask her.
In the room. Yes, Lindsay, go ahead, question.
Does touching just mean with your hands? Like,
I'm not answering any questions. I'm going to say, be creative. All I said was you cannot touch the puzzle with your hands. Interpret that how you will. Be creative. I use my wording very intentionally. Okay. Everything you need is in the room. Read the eyebrows, right? You got this. Does everyone understand what is happening? Does everyone understand? And go.
Yes, I think they do. Yeah, great. They're gonna start
those puzzles. I'll let you know when those that need to have a dance break when it's time. So go ahead and start working on those puzzles. For those of you that can, remember, everything you need is in this room. I see those snaps, Ken. I saw those snaps. Well done. Is Jenny in that room?
Is what? I'm sorry.
Is Jenny in the room?
Jenny Norris Lane. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, is Jenny in there?
No, that's the one person we're missing.
Okay, no worries. About how many people do we have in there total right now, Lindsay?
Let me see. 1, 2, we have 14 with the one new person, so 13 with a new.
So 14 total, fabulous. Okay. Yeah, we can have like 4 groups of 3, or yeah, we'll figure it out. You guys are doing a wonderful job completing, keep working hard. You're doing fabulous. And for those of you that need a dance break, it's time. It's time for your break. 60 seconds. Let's go. Come on. I see those moves, Ken. I see those moves. I'm going to tell the rest of the faculty. Red sweater. I see you. Yes. 30 more seconds. 60 seconds is a long time. And time. Back to your puzzles. Well done. Well done. Well done. All those moves. Who knew? Who knew all y'all have those moves? Beautiful. Like where? It's like, I want to make sure. Are we recording all of these good moves? I just want to. Oh, Lindsay, these pictures are amazing. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, Lindsay.
I love that. That's so innovative.
Are people having notes? I love it. You all are doing a great job. Keep going. You're doing great. Hang in there.
Of your strategic method. That's awesome. Or touch it, yeah. Kirsten's got it.
Yeah, you all are doing so well. You're doing great. Hang in there. We're almost there. Okay, you know what time it is. Everybody that has a dance item.
Dance time.
Let's get up. Dance break. Up, away from those puzzles.
Ken said it's the same song. He's not impressed.
It was so good. Oh, you need a new song? Okay, I got you. Next time. I thought maybe you want to catch on and get the rhythm, but next time I'll give you a new song. Okay, back to work, back to work.
so pretty.
Well, I feel like I'm the one that. Oh, I could have not grabbed that plate.
Oh wow, you're getting far.
You all are doing really well. I'm going to give us about 5 more minutes. We can do this. I believe in us.
Some of the groups are getting it.
Some of the groups are getting it. That's good to know. Good for you all. Doing so great.
I'm sending you some pictures and videos, Dr. Lockhart.
Thank you. So good. Some of you are being very strategic, and I like it.
Anybody that can help us?
Okay, you know what time it is, friends. Step away from the puzzles and let's dance. Come on, step away. Step away from those puzzles. All those that are having a dance break, Ken, step away. Ken, step away.
Off to my city, off to my home. We're flying up no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet, feel that hot blood in my body. It drops. Ooh. Can't take my eyes off of it, moving so phenomenally. Come on, like the way we rock it, so don't stop. And under the lights, when everything goes, no better hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you already know.
And back to work. Good job.
The only one that can see it, and she cannot touch it, and we can't see it.
So pretty.
She's been doing good work, I believe in her. I haven't seen the things she's done, but she's been describing it. Eyeballs and what did you say?
Y'all are doing a good job. This is fun.
Just say our group's falling to pieces.
This would up in some of the I'm struggling with how little I can do. They would be so mad. I'm just kind of sensitive.
So I think you all probably have some of our
Oh,
you want to swap?
do you think that we have pieces?
You all are doing a great job. Everybody, 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left. 2 minutes.
But maybe it's also. I'm sure it's awesome. I can't see it, but I can see it. You have a lot of noses. I'm very thankful. My eyes are absolutely shut down. You might be able to help. Since our only wrestler can't see
That's a good strategy.
1 minute left. 1 minute. 1 minute.
1 minute left, y'all.
Go team. I'll look at it when I can see again.
This is the best.
It's the only thing I can do.
That's so
All right. 3, 2, 1, and
done. Time.
done. Time. Your time is up. Well done. Do not touch that puzzle anymore. Let it go. Back your hands away from the puzzle.
Good job.
Have a seat. All right. Give yourself a round of applause, some snaps, some claps. You did. You survived. Well done. You survived. Some of you have hidden dance moves that I was really happy to see you bring out. Well done. Yeah. So what was this like? So keep in mind, I'm kind of on the screen so I can hear, but I can't fully hear. So I need you to kind of one at a time, as loud, or to ask Lindsay for a mic. What was this experience like? So we're going to talk big picture. And then of course I'm going to get meta, because the educator in me is glad that you did it for you. And I also want to give you some tips so that you can do it with other people, right? Because this is all about carrying these things and the
Someone
message.
said frustrating. That was our first
Yeah,
response.
absolutely. Why was it frustrating?
You regret your choices.
I ran to get something that made this impossible for me.
She ran to get something that made it impossible.
I regret my choices.
I should not laugh this hard, but it's hilarious.
It is
Actually,
funny.
my last choice made me be able to dance, so I don't regret that choice.
There you
definitely.
All
go.
I could do was dance.
You can never regret the dance.
The
Good.
dance break was a nice break, was another comment.
Absolutely. What else?
Taking a break from anything. I was sitting.
I couldn't see, but I was the only one who could touch.
Oh.
Mm.
Okay. And I was so dependent. And then we had two other people who couldn't be involved. Right. So I was completely dependent on Priscilla. And I just felt like I was disappointing her at every turn. And then I couldn't turn it the right way, or I couldn't, like, I wanted to be actively involved.
Yeah.
Maybe suppose I actually had this disability, how frustrating it would be not to be able to help in ways that I'm taken for granted.
Yeah.
My challenge was how to communicate to her what I wanted her to do descriptively enough. And I get my right and left hands mixed up all the time. And so when I was trying to say to her, with your right hand, no, it's the other way. And that was just the challenge of communicating.
So good.
And-
So good. And so just hold on. Can we stay there? Hold on. Wait 1 second, Lindsay. I want to
sorry.
stay there I just want to stay there for a second. Because you're thinking about, okay, you couldn't see and how sometimes we're differently abled and we can do certain things. And it's saying how you felt like you were disappointing that person or communicating. And so often it's also, how welcome do you feel in that space, right? Regardless of your ability, right? And like, was it a welcoming? Did you feel welcome? And again, how are we doing that in our places of worship? How are we doing that in the ways that we communicate our faith? Is it accessible? Right? Absolutely. Again, all of this is a metaphor for everything else. So we're going to talk about that. Okay, you can go ahead and go to the next person, Lindsay. Oh, wait, no, wait. Did you have something else you wanted to add? I just saw her face go.
I'm a little disappointed in the slackers at our table who would not help at all.
But I'm sure they made beautiful creations, right?
But they made no contribution to our project.
And so can I tell you a secret about that? Are you ready? How often in our ministry do we have people that get sidetracked with things that are their own projects? And then we feel like sometimes we're the only ones doing it. And then that can be frustrating too. And so what does that look like when we're in ministry, when we're teaching? Again, everything means something. All right. I think you were heading over in
I'm
the
gonna
other.
pass the mic.
So I as someone who typically kind of upholds the rules, I broke the rules and went and hired the tech guy to work on our puzzle because We had two, I'm getting him a glass of wine at the reception tomorrow before dinner.
Make sure he
Because
holds you to that. Get two
we
glasses.
had two glasses. It just went up, inflation. Because we had two at our table who were distracted. One who could not see, touch, or talk.
Oh my goodness, you got a lot of things.
Thank you for your contribution, Salonia. And I couldn't touch. So I hired the tech guy, and then I realized I could use paintbrushes for chopsticks. So I actually did put together two pieces, but I was very slow. But then after we were done, I realized that I'll speak for me. I had the wrong task in mind. I was looking at the puzzle on the table, not the puzzle of how four very differently able people can work together.
Exactly.
So I totally missed the puzzle pieces at our table.
And I'll say so many people do, but that's the beauty of this project is, and even the other table said no one could touch. Number one, I said only your hands. So you got an elbow, you could use your chopsticks, you could use someone else's hands, you could use the hands of the person that can't see, you can use so many things. And also, why didn't you guys switch tables? I didn't say you couldn't switch tables. Why wouldn't you switch tables with someone that couldn't touch? What does it mean to be in community with each other, to realize who has what gifts and utilize them to the best of your ability? If everybody is working on a creation, put all of them at one table, and then all of you can work on the puzzles. Like, what does it mean to divide up, to help each other, to work as a community with all of our gifts, and not just to work in silos, as we so often do in departments, in communities, mission committees. We so often work in silos, but together we're so much stronger. Salonia, I see you wanted to have a point. Go ahead.
Yeah, since I wasn't to speak, I wasn't to see, I wasn't to touch, I just thought about it, that how many times do I look at people who are actually, they have disabilities that much, and they come to church and we put them somewhere there.
Yes.
We hope that they are flowing with what's going on in service. And then at the end of the day, we tell them, bye-bye, God bless you, where do you live? And nobody really attended to, it's just assuming that they're just like us in a way, or they don't need to know.
Exactly.
Yeah, that came to me.
That is so good. See, so often we think that our spaces are accessible, but are they really? If we're all pieces of the puzzle of the kingdom, that's what I like to think, is that we're all a piece of this large, glorious puzzle that is the kingdom, then how are we making sure that everyone has access? How are we making sure those that might not be able to see, those that are differently abled, maybe those that are neurodivergent and learn differently, maybe those that, have different gifts, how are we making sure that they have space to come and be a part of this puzzle as well? And how are we seeing that as a gift, right? Or as I guess some of my finance friends would say, as an asset instead of a liability, right? So how do we, wait, are you all still working on that puzzle? Put that puzzle down. I see you. So here's another, I can see all. Thank the owl. Thank the owl. I see all. So before we move on, no, the reason I stopped you, and this is not to be, but again, we do this in ministry. We give, and give. And guess what? Sometimes that is not our part to complete. That is for someone else to complete. So we have to leave it and trust that we have done our part. Our part might just be to plant the seed. And now we have to actually do the hard work of sitting back and watching someone else water it and let it grow. That's
Dr. Lockhart, we have one more comment.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
I was just noticing that we did a lot of work of trying to figure out how to do this. Like, we were all convinced there was some solution. We could find it, right? Someone over there said, maybe some of these pieces go to somebody else's puzzle, or maybe there's some sort of key, and if we solve it, we'll get this done. And that was really interesting because everybody was doing that. There's got to be a key. There's got to be a secret. And rather than just doing it, we were trying to solve it. Like, we had to fix it in some way.
Which is, again, what we often do in ministry, right? Obviously, this is broken in some way, so we're going to fix it instead of trusting the process, right? Of trusting that we can just lean into it, or realizing that you're the key. It's for you. You're the key. You needed each other, right? So yeah, you had different pieces at every table, but had you all worked together, you would have figured that out, right? Because there's a piece of each puzzle at each table. So you all actually needed each other. So had you taken the time to see that, you would have realized you need each other. But it wasn't that it was broken or it needed to be fixed. It just needed to be completed. It just needed to be gone through the process and taking the time. So here go all the metaphors. Okay. Anyway, any other comments or questions before I go into metaphor time and all of that? Okay,
Yeah,
I will
think we're
say
good.
there was a person who I put on a secret mission. So Ken had a secret mission to make sure that none of the puzzles got completed by any means necessary. So Ken, were you able to effectively complete your task?
Oh, without effort.
Now, was there anything in particular that you did for this to make sure it happened?
What was that again?
Was there anything in particular that you did to try to complete this task?
That I did at my table?
Or at any of the tables? Because your task was to make sure none of the groups completed.
I could see the frustration in the room and the lack of progress when I walked over, because that was the table I couldn't see. So I went to get the chopsticks. I looked at that table and also saw that we had done more because we hired a technician. But no tables. All the tables were kind of floundering.
Okay, good.
What seemed to be our task.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. So one, this is always just a really good task to start with. It gets you moving, it gets you thinking creatively. And again, I was very specific with my wording, right? Things you couldn't do, how you work together. And again, most of the time, no one thinks to work in teams. No one thinks to work across tables. But I love starting with this because when we're thinking about, number one, how we live out our faith, number one, we need to remember that our bodies are a part of it, that the people we're in community with, their bodies are a part of it, and our bodies are different bodies, right? In how they move and how they work and what they can do in their cultural experiences of the world and in how the world sees them and views them and how they move in the world. And so much of this is also thinking about, okay, we're all different pieces of the puzzle. What can I do? What can I do? How to move in community. And also I had Ken do that task because sometimes there are people who want to see other people fail, even though we don't want that to be the case. Sometimes because of who people choose to love or who people, just who people might, the skin someone might have or someone's views, some people might not want to see people succeed. And so sometimes people will intentionally try to make you fail. And so what does it mean when there are other people that have different advantages or things that don't? And how do we make sure we come as a community to help when those kinds of things happen? Right. So again, there's so many metaphors for this. Again, it's fun, just number one, because it's fun and you guys are doing a puzzle and it gets you kind of to know each other a little bit. But if you do this again, if you choose to do this, it's really great for thinking about identity. It's really great community building. It's really great for thinking about how we solve complex problems and think through things. And again, this can go on for much longer, right? If you had a longer time frame, you could do this for longer. You could have more than one person trying to destroy puzzles, give them the task of making sure they don't complete the puzzle. And so many different things will happen throughout it, but it's just a really great activity to start people thinking about community, kingdom, how we live out our faith and what that looks like. So any questions or comments about this before we move on to the next thing? We're going to have a lot of fun today, by the way. Anything else? No? Okay, we'll move on to our next thing, but I do want to hit that point one more time that sometimes the puzzles are not ours to complete. So I do appreciate you for not completing the puzzles. So you can feel free to put the puzzles back into the bags. That way they don't get scattered as we continue to move and do more stuff. So while we're putting the puzzle away, and feel free to stop me, I'm going to share my screen, so I won't be able to see you as readily. So feel free to shout at me or shout at Lindsay if you need to get my attention, because we're going to do a little bit of theory talk. Then we're going to go back to games, theory games, because I'm a theory practice kind of person. So I'm going to share my screen.
Can we get a bigger bag so we don't have to take any of our puzzle apart? We worked so hard on it.
Sorry. Nope. They got to come apart. You did great. And we're going to let it go. All right. So you put the puzzle together. Everything you needed was in the room. We reflected on it. Okay. So I'm Lakisha, as I discussed. So quickly at your table, I'm going to give you about a couple of minutes just to go around and say your name. And just I want you to think after you say your name about who you are and where you are that you're serving, right? Who are the people that you have in mind when you are thinking about the puzzle pieces and the kingdom, just to yourself, but introduce yourself. And I want you to internally be thinking about who you're taking with you as we continue to do some embodied faith activities. So quickly, about a minute or two, introduce yourself to your table.
mostly do children, also adults, and right now you, and then I'm also I'm not supposed to be doing youth right now, but I am.
Okay.
But campus ministry is a separate entity supported by the church. I work with children and college students.
Okay. Has everyone introduced themselves? Yeah.
They're still working on it, Dr.
Oh, okay. I'll
Lockhart.
give you another minute. Okay. Wave at me when you're done.
You're done? Okay.
You
One
done?
table is done.
Okay.
And by the way, Dr. Lockhart, there's 4 tables and they're split into 3s and 4s
Okay,
at their
perfect.
tables.
Great. So then they can just use their table when it's later. They can just
Yeah.
keep 4 threes. Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks.
that's perfect.
Perfect. All right. Are we all done?
We're all done.
Yeah. We all kind of know-ish who's at our table. Now that we've needed them so badly to complete a puzzle. Now we can know who they are. All right, everyone's good. We know each other. Fabulous. Okay, so just a little bit of theory when we start thinking about, specifically, I do a lot around play and aesthetics, but embodied faith in general, I'm talking about the many ways that we embody our faith through aesthetic and spiritual practices and things of that nature. So also, side note, if you made a masterpiece, take it home. Let this be a great memory of the masterpiece you created. And so just getting into a little bit of theory that I want us to be thinking about why I think these kinds of things are so effective when we're doing ministry is that we have to remember developmentally people are at a lot of different places. So, I mean, this usually works great with youth, but also I think it's necessary for adults. We just tend to leave it behind when we get a little older because we think we have to be serious. But I actually think play and embodiment is actually something that we need more of and we need to embrace. And so we have to think about where people are developmentally. Different people talk about it. I really like Erik Erikson's stages when he talks about kind of psychosocial development, where people are and what they need, which is why these games work differently. So depending on who you're doing this with, that changes kind of some of the questions that you ask, that changes how you play the game, right? So for people that are still, are younger, that are still working through, initiative and guilt and autonomy and shame, they need a lot of boundaries, not to say that they have to stay in a small place, but just they need clear boundaries because it helps them actually play more. Right? Once I can do this and I can't do that, oh, now I can do all of this. It kind of opens it up for them. So different folks with different developmental places need more or different things. And even though these kind of go by age brackets, it's also important to remember when you're thinking about people that are neurodivergent, people that might be on the spectrum, people that are differently abled in different ways, they might also show up differently regardless of their age. They might be at a different developmental place. So when we're thinking about embodiment and games, it's really important to think about where people are and what group you might be using this with and how it works, because that's also going to help the usage of it. It's pointless to play a game that is way too complex for a toddler, and then they're just going to get frustrated, right? We talked about being frustrated. So we also want to make sure if we're doing this with adults, if we're doing this with other people, what does it mean to do some of these things and to let it actually be generative and actually help for our faith instead of, I guess, to be not helpful. Does that make sense? Any questions? Again, these are just brief things I want us to just think about and consider. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time because I want you to experience the stuff, but I want you to just know in the back of your mind, these are some things to think about when you're creating things or when you're going back and embodying your faith in your own space. Any questions before I move on? Nope. Okay. All right. So we might be familiar with this, Eric Gardner, multiple intelligences. So these are the multiple ways that we learn, right? That we think about kinesthetic, bodily, interpersonal, intrapersonal, people and outward, verbal, linguistic, logical, mathematic, natural, visual, spatial, musical. So these are a lot of the ways we take in information as well as we teach information, right? So for some of us, we learn through music. right? I don't know about you, but sometimes I can be in worship and it could be the best sermon in the world. But when that song comes on, it just hits me the right way. Like that's what kind of gets to me. That's what speaks to my soul so often. Or I have to move my body. For me, I'm a mover. Like for me, it's moving the body. Growing up, it was dance. And that was where I found God, is in my dance. And so what does that mean? And what does that look like? And the thing is that we have to remember that we all are on different places on this. So what does it mean that when we're offering things, whether we're teaching or we're in ministry, that means we need to offer things that can connect to all of these different ways of taking things in. If we learn all of these different ways, why wouldn't we also understand the divine in all of these different ways? So maybe one Sunday for the sermon, we have everyone go outside and find God in nature and what that might mean and what that might look like. Or maybe we'll think about, some body movement or have them submit pictures. There's so many things, but what does it mean to try to incorporate the many ways that people learn? Everyone doesn't just learn from a lecture. Everyone just doesn't learn from words. Different people need different things. And we're not always going to hit everything every time, but how do we just mix it up and make sure we're doing things that speak to the multiple parts of who we are? Because that's part of, I think, what God does for us. It speaks to the many parts of our lives, that are movement, that are mind, that are so many different things. So I just want to also bring that back to our mind as we're doing this. Okay. So now that we have a little theory, now we're going to do a little bit more play. So we know a little bit about development and the many things that we're thinking about when we're teaching and learning. So now I want us to think about the many balls that we might have in the air and things going on in our lives. So I'm going to have everyone. Okay, so before you do it, just let me explain it and then we'll do it. So we're going to use all the beach balls and all the tennis balls in this activity. So if Lindsay, you want to gather those items, we're going to get in, in a minute, we're going to stand up from the tables. We're going to go back to the space. We're all going to get in a circle, kind of facing each other as we feel comfortable. Again, I know some are masked, so as you feel comfortable. And we're going to toss the balls around. Do not hurt each other. I do not have insurance. I'm sure they don't have insurance on you in the room. So I need you to be careful when you're doing this activity. So we're going to get up and head to the back and form a circle. Does that make sense what I've asked you to do?
So each table get up and form a circle together back here.
Yeah, one big circle.
One big circle. Okay.
Yes, one big circle with everyone.
Perfect.
Okay. When you're ready.
And do you want just one ball for the big?
Well, we're starting with one ball, but there will be many added.
Okay. All right, awesome.
Yes, form a circle situation. Yes, doing wonderful. Wonderful job.
Ken, I'll give
Okay.
I gave Ken the ball.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so now you have a ball, right? It's a beach ball, okay? So I want you all to keep the ball from hitting the ground. So toss the ball around and it cannot touch the ground. That's your task. That's very easy. Lindsay, throw in another beach ball.
Right.
Now, keep these balls from hitting the ground. Lindsay, already
hit the ground.
I saw. Keep going. Lindsay, throw in a tennis ball.
Oh, a tennis ball. Okay.
Keep the ball. Oh, really? 2 balls hitting the ground? Come on, y'all. You can do this. I believe in you. Lindsay, throw in another tennis ball. Okay, and stop. Solid effort, kind of. Okay, so kind of. I believe you all can do better than this. So let's try this again. Let's start with one beach ball. Let's start it again. Don't let the ball hit the ground. Just keep tossing it around. Let's go. One beach ball start. Okay. Well done. Good job. Now throw another beach ball in there. There we go. Good job. Keep going. The balls cannot hit the ground. All right, let's throw in a tennis ball. Oh. Let's throw in the other tennis ball. Salonia, turn around with your back facing the circle. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. The person with the orange, the burnt orange long sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
Can you sit down? Thank you. The person standing to the right of Ken, I think you have on like a blazer. I don't know if it's navy or black. Can you turn around so your back is facing the circle? Thank you. Okay. Can the person, I think you have on an olive coat with glasses,
Yes.
lovely
right
gray
here.
hair. Yes. Can you either sit down or go on a lower level somehow?
I think she's gonna sit. Are you
Okay,
gonna sit?
great. Okay, I still need to see 2 beach balls and 2 tennis balls not hitting the ground.
They're going. They're going.
Okay, fabulous job. Okay, well done. Okay, now everybody, we can come back to our seats. Well done. You can put the balls away, and we're gonna talk about this. Well done.
I'll take the balls.
We're gonna talk about it. So you can come back to your tables, and then we'll talk about it. Well done. Now keep in mind, all of these things are much more extended. You're just getting a short version of it right now because I want to introduce you to a lot of things, okay? So what was it like trying to wrangle all these balls in the air? One's a big ball, one's a small bouncy ball. What was this like? And remember, speak loud so I can hear.
Confusing.
Yes.
I'll pass the mic.
It was easier when I knew their name, then I could say it.
Absolutely.
Anyone else?
Needed eye contact.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Okay. Oh, over here.
It was a tad stressful because I've never been good at athletic-y kinds of things, throwing and catching. And so I kept hoping, like when I played dodgeball, it was truly dodge, stay out of the way. Even when I played volleyball, I was playing dodgeball, stay out of the way, because I don't trust my abilities.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, hold on. We have a couple more.
When you knew it was coming to you and someone called your name or looked at you and you knew what to expect and you weren't just wondering if something was going to come out of nowhere.
That's good.
Not kind of to your point, not knowing other people's abilities made it like, how hard can I throw it, or should I throw it, or do they see me? That was a little stressful for me. I don't want to bean anybody in the face.
That's appreciated. I'm sure they appreciated that. That's so good. Thank you. So again, we're going to get meta really quickly because I know we have time and I want you to do a couple more things. So I really like this activity. Again, it can go on for a long time. You can add more balls. Usually if it's a bigger group, I'll throw several in there. I'll have different people turn around, sit down. One person has to stand behind the next person. You can do all kinds of things with this, but essentially it's really getting people to think about how much we're often carrying when we're doing ministry, when we're teaching, when we're doing this work. There are so many balls we have in the air going on at any given time, right? And the thing is, we're not the only ones. Everyone does. So what does it mean when we talk about delegating and sharing the load and doing this work again in community and doing it together? And remembering our bodies. Some of us have limitations in different ways. Some of us, again, I had people sit or I had people turn around. How are we caring for people that can't participate in a different way? Or if we're thinking about, then again, we start thinking about diversity, equity, and inclusion. What about those that have different colored skin that are treated differently? What about those that love differently? What about those that have all of these different ways that we need to make sure we're making space for, who might have more balls they have to deal with because of how they identify and show up in the world, literally just for existing, right? They now have all of these added balls without even asking for them, right? And so what does it mean that sometimes maybe we say, hey, you can't see, so let me take this ball? What does it mean to say, hey, I can hold on to this one for a little bit longer until you can get a handle on that one, right? What does it mean to think about how we're juggling so many balls? But also, we have different abilities. Some of us, I'm a former volleyball, softball girl, so I would have caught that beam. I was ready. I would have been there. I would have been throwing it right back out at you as well. But that's not everyone, right? We're not all called to do the same thing in the same way. So how do we show up? And remember that how we show up is enough. Not everyone's called to be on the front line of everything. Some of us are called to get the snacks. Some of us are called to be the encourager. And we have to know the lanes that we're in and how we can support and go from that way. But realizing whatever ball you might look like, whatever balls you're holding, it's enough. But how can we also support each other and ask for help when we need it? And a lot of that means communication, looking at people, communicating with people, saying, hey, I'm going to hand this off to you. Are you ready for this? Is this too much for you before I put this on your plate? Looking them in the eye, doing those things is really, really important, especially as we think about how we're embodying our faith. We're doing this in community. We don't do it in silos, right? But how often have someone just put something on your plate and you didn't know the first place to start? And you're just like, really, friend? This is what you're going to give me? and the best thing you can say is, oh, well, bless your heart. And I'm from the South, so we really know what bless your heart means. Oh, yeah, I saw that face. Okay, so any questions or comments about this before we move on to a little bit more theory stuff? Again, we're going to go back and forth, okay? So I'm giving you a lot, but hopefully I want you to have all the things, okay? So we're moving back. And so now you can still see my screen again? Wave to me. Yep, great. Okay, so no, I don't need you. We already did that. Okay, so again, for me, play and thinking about embodiment is really important. But it's really kind of the intentionality behind it that I think really helps with embodied faith, right? Whether you call it theology or spirituality, it's really what you bring to it. And I love the way different people talk about it. I'm going to talk about these quickly because I want us to play, but I'm happy to send this Prezi out if you all want this information after the fact. So I'm going to go through it kind of quickly, but here we go. So I love Brene Brown's kind of a way of talking about it as this kind of recognition and celebration that we are connected to this power that is bigger than us, that is greater than us, that is this wonderful gift, and that we can explore the nature of the divine. I also love, Katie Cannon, RIP, and how do the work your soul must have. This notion of soul work, of living out our lives, understanding our purpose and our journey is not only through what we're reading, but how we're living day to day, what we're doing with our bodies, which means how we embody our faith, how we're taking it in, how we're taking it out, how we experience it, like through a sunset, through music, all of that matters. And giving people space to experience it in that way matters. So for me, play, it ties in the cultural aspect, which Johan Hunzinger talks about how play can be cultural in different places. So often we might have Miss Mary Mac, but your words are different from mine because we learned it differently, but it's the same kind of essence, right? That happens so often because cultures are different and we celebrate things differently. D.W. Winnicott and Jerome Berryman, who did Godly Play, they talk about this notion of play, like the bringing out the true self of this is a part of who we are. And we kind of let our guards down when we're all looking silly and having fun. We're just being who we are. We don't have time to put on a facade. We don't have time to be fake when we're trying to catch a ball being thrown at our face. So it has this really unique way of getting to the heart of who we are as people so we can see each other, not just for floating heads, but full embodied humans created by the divine, which means that we all deserve love and dignity, regardless of our color, ability, and all of those things. And then Courtney Goto talks about it as this way of finding yourself, losing yourself, acting or believing as if a world of possibilities. For some, they might not know this world of possibilities depending on how they've been raised, where they live, what they've been brought up in. And so it gives you the space to try something on, especially for young people. Trying on identity, figuring out who I am is huge. So this really gives this space to play with low risks, which is really important in society when everything else is very high risk of failing, of doing this, but this is much low, but you can try it on and see, and it gives this really, really a gift for so many people, even adults who feel like they fail. You can try this on and see if it works without this big risk of failure, or at least maybe you practice failing and that'll help you fail in real life. Because I think failure is also a good thing too. It tells us a lot about who we are and how we can go on. And not only that, but our minds and our bodies are actually connected. So our brain synapses move when our body moves, right? So it creates new neural pathways. So have you ever been at a screen and you've been like, what do they call it? Writer's block. You can't think, you can't do anything. You get up, you get a cup of coffee, you come back, you move, bam, it's there. because you created a new neural pathway when you moved your body. That's why the mind and body are so inextricably connected, is we need one to do the other. You can't have them right. They help you be better problem solvers. You're actually doing more when you're working your body and your brain more. And a study from Brigham Young actually said that you're 20% more productive when you make time to move your body and play. Think about so many of the tech places that they're doing tech stuff all day long, which is way longer than the 9 to 5, but they have, Nerf gun stations, they have games there, they have, they also have like a beer funnel, but that's a whole other conversation. But they have all of these things because they know you need to connect the play and the body to be able to actually get your mind thinking more creatively. So how do you create more of these kinds of spaces and opportunities in your own places? What does it look like at staff meetings, at faculty meetings? You have a play space, or maybe there's a place in your building that you have a creative play space, or maybe instead of making a decision there, you say, hey, let's play red light, green light. What does it mean to make more space for these kinds of things, and how the many ways we can embody our faith? Okay. Really quickly, this is just my own personal one, is I see play as this embodied aesthetic experience, which is why it's able to incorporate all the play that we're doing today. It's a way we come to know, we have our being, we make meaning in the world. For me, that comes from womanism, which is a term from Alice Walker. Feel free to look it up if you want to learn more about it. It's really about being bold, audacious, loving yourself, being committed to the survival and wholeness of everyone. You often hear it compared, purple is to lavender as womanist is to feminist, basically saying they're kind of cousins, but feminism sometimes left out women of color. And so womanism is saying, hey, our story matters too, and we want all of us to get to a place of wholeness together and to push for justice, really starting inward and making our way outward into the world. For me, the framework starts for me with the divine and Jesus. I read the Bible and I cackle. I find God and Jesus to be very, very playful, right? I think about Balaam. You got talking donkeys. I've never met a talking donkey. I just think that's really funny. I think about the moments where I also think Jesus is really petty. I'm just going to put that out there. I think about when Jesus died, came back, and the disciples were fishing, and Jesus knew they had not caught a single fish. Not a single fish. Jesus knew it, and yet still came and said, hey, have you caught any fish? We didn't catch any fish, Jesus. Why are you out? Or my favorite is when the tax collectors are there, and he's like, hey, you want to collect your taxes? Go get it out the mouth of a fish. Let me tell the IRS to go get your money out of the mouth of a fish. I just feel like Jesus had so much flavor and had so much just the playfulness of who they are and how they created the world. The fact that a clownfish even exists in the world is just hilarious to me. Just think about the many ways that I feel like God and Jesus are playful. And so how do we create that kind of space in all that we're doing? And who we are, our ontology, our way of being, epistemology, on our ways of knowing, thinking about how even as children, maybe the ways that we grew up learning were through playing house. I learned roles, or playing doctor. A Black woman can be a doctor. That was never a thing when I was young. You learn how you want to move in the world. Do I want to play Red Rover? Do I want to cheat? Do I want to go around? I learned a lot about morals and ethics. We learned so much about who we are by the things that we do and how we do them. Again, our body is a part of it. And the last big piece that I want to talk about, and then we're going to play for the rest of the time, is environment. I've been talking about it. We got to create a space for people to actually be able to play, to embody, to know that it's part of what they can do. Moltmann would call this a counter environment, kind of where you create this alternative space. Some people call it safe or brave space. I tend to push back against safe space because I don't believe every space is safe for everybody. And so if every space can't be safe for everybody, then it shouldn't be safe for anybody. And I say that because I work with a lot of folks that identify as minoritized communities. And I once had a young man come up to me and say, hey, don't call this a safe space because so-and-so just called me the N-word. And when I go home, I'm going to get beat. There's nowhere where I'm safe. So don't give me something that you can't deliver. And I believe that holds true. We cannot guarantee safety in certain places. We can't guarantee that someone isn't going to say something that hurts someone else's feelings. We can't guarantee that it's not going to get messy and hurtful and challenging. But what we can guarantee is that, hey, maybe we're going to create this space to be brave. Maybe we're going to create this space to be sacred. Maybe we're going to create this space where when things like that happen, we can call each other in and out, which means that's not exactly safe, but we're going to challenge each other to hold each other accountable, to do the hard work of talking about when moments like that happen. And so how we deal with that and wrestle with that. Now, maybe they still want to name that space safe. I just tend to shy away from that word because I feel like that's not something we can deliver to everybody. And it feels like sometimes it can be a privilege for some to be able to say they're safe. So I like the term clearing space because I like Toni Morrison and she uses it in her work as a space where people dance and move and play cards. So I like that terminology, but asking people what kind of space they want to create and how they want to live into it is really helpful. Let them name it, right? Remember, cultural expression is different. Remember, everyone's home life is different. So the environment you create at your place has to be what you want it to be, and really living into it. Making sure you're asking and listening to what people need. And then also listening for mental health concerns. I feel like if the pandemic has taught us anything, mental health concerns are real and are really important. Having crisis plans in place for kids, adults, everybody alike. Having a Rolodex of people that you can refer people to is really, really important. As ministers, as people, we can only do so much. We're not trained therapists. We're not trained psychologists. Our goal is just to do no harm, I feel like. So who do we need to refer to when moments like that happen? Have a plan in place so that when it happens, you're not caught off guard, okay? So all of this is what helps us get to a place where we can play much more freely. So I know that was a lot. I'm not going to be doing much more talking because now we're going to play again. But any questions about all that I just covered? I promise I will share this Prezi with you because I am going very fast. Any comments, questions, or are you ready to play some more?
Hold on, Ken's got a
comment. It's kind of dawned on me today that the more I think, the more I want to play. But
Of course.
when I play, it invites me to think.
Yes, because our mind and body are working together all the time. That's why literally I wrote my dissertation dancing. Because it invites me to play with the ideas in different ways. And I promise you, you can do so much more. I mean, when I have meetings, I try to have walking meetings outside. Like I try to use my Bluetooth to have a call because it's something about when I'm moving my body, my brain, they connect and I can think so much more differently and in different ways. So, I mean, again, even if it's not playing, like just moving your body, right? That in different ways is so, so powerful. I mean, that's just study work about brain and body connection. Absolutely.
Any other comments?
No, because if not, we got more play coming. All right, are we ready to play some more?
I think they're ready.
Okay, so this next thing we're going to do is we're doing the obstacle course. So in the back, Lindsay, we should have 4 rows. And so we're going to space it out. Okay, so I want 4 rows. The first row is going to be the hula hoops. Take about 4 steps up and then lay all the jump ropes. Feel free to go help her out, folks. 1 or 2 or 3 people. Not too many, but basically there you go. So we're going to start with the jump ropes are at that first place where they're already at. I mean, hula hoops are where they are. Take about 4 steps up and make the jump ropes. Another 4 steps, beach ball, and then another 4 steps in the tennis ball. So it should go hula hoop, jump rope, beach ball, tennis ball, hula hoop, jump rope, beach ball, tennis ball. Okay. Beautiful. Okay. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to get in groups behind one of the 4 rows based on the groups at your table. So basically take your table group, not yet, take your table group and stand behind one of the jump ropes. Not jump ropes, one of the hula hoops. Okay. And what's going to happen is we're going to have a little relay race. Okay. As you are able. So what you're going to do is you're going to hula hoop on a part of your body 3 times. 3 is the magic number, Trinity and all. So we're going to go with that for today. So you're going to hula hoop. Oh, wait, Lindsay, don't show them. We don't want to give them any ideas. Yeah, we don't want to give them any clues. I want them to think creatively. So you hula hoop on a body part 3 times. You're going to jump the rope 3 times. You're going to bounce the ball, make sure it does not hit the ground 3 times. The tennis ball, you're going to try to bounce that off the wall nearest you 3 times. So hula hoop, body part 3 times, jump the rope 3 times, bounce the ball, don't hit the ground 3 times, and bounce the tennis ball off of the wall 3 times. Does everyone understand what's going to happen? Okay. And for those of you that have groups of 3, you have to choose who's going to go twice. You're welcome in advance. I know you all love me so much. I know.
It's so fun. Yeah,
You all can do this. You can do this. I believe in you. And guess what? The winner will get my love and admiration until the end of time. Okay, is everyone ready? And does everyone understand what you're doing?
Yep, I think they got it. Do you want me to
Okay.
like say ready, set, go?
Yeah, you tell them when to go.
All right, ready, set, go.
Don't hurt each other. Oh, y'all got my, oh, man, y'all realize what I said.
Yeah, yes. Can they keep going or do they have to be back to the
Well,
line?
everyone in the group has to go. So y'all look like you're having so much fun.
Oh my gosh.
Be careful, don't hurt each other.
It's whatever you envision. Yeah, whatever you envision.
You're doing a fabulous job. Well done. Well done. Well done. Okay, so has everyone made their way through?
Go, Ken!
Of course, King's the last one. Come on, Ken. Really? Really?
The camera's right there.
I know.
Yeah!
Well done. Okay. So you all did a great job. Now, just keep in mind, I say everything intentionally. Some of you all figured it out. You just jumped over the rope because I didn't say actually jump rope. And I just said, hula hoop on a part of your body. So some of you figured out that I'm very intentional with my words. Well done. Great job. So now I want you all to create your own obstacle course. So this is just something I created, right? Yeah, it was fun. It was wonderful. But now I want you all to put your heads together to create something that all of you have to go through. So take a couple of minutes to create something together as all 4 groups and create another obstacle course that you all have to go through. You can use anything in the room.
So one big obstacle course or 4?
That's completely up to you. You can use everything in the room except for Lindsay. Oh, that's like a little hopscotch. Okay. Please do. Add some other stuff. Go for it.
Wow. Or jump over it. Or you think, Jerry?
I mean, she's not making it too complicated. I mean, oh, I like it. She's being kind and generous here. Really?
Chair, do we have to go like under it? Okay, or over it, your choice. Under or over? Either under or over is gonna be a challenge for some of us.
Say we have to do it both.
You can move the chair, go around the chair.
How about around as well?
Yeah. You can go around is gonna work.
What about juggling the tennis ball?
Yes. Okay. One, I can juggle one. Yeah, I can juggle.
I didn't say how many, I just said juggle the tennis.
Then you juggle. All right, you wanna go around the table in the back?
Maybe you have to put on a pair of sunglasses.
Oh, you put on a pair of sunglasses.
They're right there.
Sunglasses on.
Behind Chrissy. We have another one of these.
Okay, have we created something good? Are we ready?
We're almost ready.
Okay.
Yes. Whatever you
church is a dance.
You come through. The ball and the bandana.
Okay, scarf dancing is here.
And then you run through there, finish it. We have one more jump rope. So what do we do with this ball? You jump. 2 more jump ropes.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes, I think they're good.
Okay, does everyone know how to get through the obstacle course? Someone needs to explain how to get through the obstacle course.
Do we need a demonstration? You'll need a demonstration. Anyone willing to demonstrate it?
Or at least talk us through what's supposed to happen here.
Okay, so hopscotch through the hula hoops. Go over the thing, under the jump rope. Tennis balls, juggle the tennis balls. And then do some scarf dancing.
Ooh.
And then finish.
Okay. So everyone understands what's going to happen. They understand what they need to do. Everyone understands.
I think they got it.
Okay. So I mean, and you all made this obstacle course, so you all make the rules. Does everyone need to go through? Does one person in every group need to go through? What are the rules? All right, does everyone understand the rules? It sounds like everyone doesn't understand the rules about what's about to happen.
One person
Okay.
from each group is going, it sounds like, and then everyone else that's not going has to be a cheerleader, correct?
Okay, everybody's good with that? Everybody's good with that? Okay. All right, Lindsay, you count them off and let them go when they can go.
All right, so has every group picked their person to go? Okay. All right, so first person needs to step up. All right, on your mark, get set. Oh, hold on. On your mark, get set, go. Wow.
Really?
Yay.
Well done, well done. All right, who's going next?
Next person.
I believe in you. Well done. All right, who's going next?
Go ahead.
Woo, woo, woo. Lovely job. All right, is there anybody going next? There were 4 groups. There were 4, and that was only 3.
All right, Christy's going.
Yeah.
Good job.
Well done, well done. Okay, so stay standing. The next piece, we're gonna do something really quick, and then I will talk you into something else. But really quickly, how did that feel from the first obstacle course to this one? What did it feel like? If you need to take a seat, you can sit where you're at. I just mean like just kind of stay in the cluster. But if you need to sit, feel free to do what you need. But how did it feel? Thoughts, comments?
It felt good.
We made was less stressful.
I bet it was.
It was fun being silly.
Mm-hmm.
No winner, no loser.
Mm-hmm.
encouragement felt good.
Absolutely. Anyone else? Oh yeah, lots of hidden talents. We got juggler over here. We got all kinds of things going on. Good. All right. So thank you all for participating. Of course, my obstacle course was not nearly as fun as yours. But again, it's that beautiful reminder of there are always going to be obstacles that come up with in ministry, whatever they look like. They might not be our thing. We might not be able to deal with them, but what it means to do it in community is always really, really important, right? And not only that, but even the creation of a new obstacle course. I could have never have created something that creative, but when you all work together to try to create something, number one, you kind of see some natural leader gifts. You see different areas of creativity and how you work together to create something new. I really love to believe that we have been created by a creative creator to create. And so what does it mean to make space to create? And you created something wonderful and exciting and fun. And sometimes it doesn't need to be anything more than that. It just needs to be fun sometimes. And to remember to make time for fun and for play, even amidst all the obstacles, can be so enlivening for community, can be fun, can just be what it is. You don't always need a reason or a meta reason to have fun. Sometimes it is the endorphins it releases, what it does for you internally, how it lifts spirits. It's just a really wonderful and beautiful thing. And play isn't always just a good thing for, oh, okay, I want to be happy, but also lament, grief, ritual. These are also really good things to do and to express when you're playing and doing various embodied activities. So any other questions? Our time is running out. Any other questions before I show you one thing and we're going to do one more game and then we'll be done? Thoughts, comments, questions, concerns? No? Okay. So staying where you are very quickly. I'm going to show my screen one more time. Because I want to let you know that, again, because my definition is so broad, I just want you guys to be thinking about some of these things. What are some ways you embody your faith already? Maybe you already have practices. We're not going to talk about it. I just want you to think about it. What are some ways you already do this? Maybe it's you cook meals together. There are so many ways to do this, right? What ideas do you now have for those? There's supposed to be a space between 4 and those that you are in community with. Maybe you want to go back and do some things at Bible study or sermons. Just, I want to start getting those ideas percolating, right? So start thinking about that. Here's some more ideas to think about. Cooking meals together and sharing stories. What would it mean to swap recipes, cultural recipes, or just cooking together, cutting things up, making a meal, eating a meal? There's a lot on food theology that's really, really powerful. What about, we're talking about nature. What about having a plant, taking care of it, and then changing it to a location that you can make together? Doing a TV show, movie, after party discussion. There's a lot of Netflix watch parties now, or you can watch it in person. I mean, now that we can see each other again, lots of ways. Lectio Divina. If you're familiar with it, you take a scripture and you focus on it. I like to add a plus at the end. And so you can do Lectio Divina, focus on a scripture, and then maybe the plus, instead of just thinking, maybe you do what you all did earlier, which is create some works of art based on what you thought, what you heard, what picture comes to mind. Maybe you build some Legos from it. Maybe you paint a picture, whatever it is. Maybe you do some Play-Doh. Go for it. Do a self-portraiture. Maybe make something abstract with art about thinking about who you are in the eyes of the divine. Do some mirroring exercise, which is a drama term where you kind of mirror what one person does, and it's really cool. Augusto Boal does a lot around theater of the oppressed and thinking about how we recreate machines and how we turn our bodies into different things, which is really, really fun. Red light, green light, which is what we're about to play in a minute. You can do the obstacle course. I mean, musical chairs, dance parties, karaoke, just creating things is a lot of fun. Okay. So those are just some ideas to get you thinking. So this is our last activity. Before I go on, any other thoughts, comments, questions? This will be our last activity that we do. Anybody? Other than you're having so much fun and you're welcome. Okay. So last activity. All right. So we are going to do red light, green light. So I want you to feel free to make some space around so people aren't tripping over things if they're moving. So is everyone a little bit familiar with red light, green light? Yeah. So essentially it's mirroring a traffic light. So if I say red light, you are going to come to a stop. If I say yellow light, you're not going to do what you do in the car and just speed through. You're going to slow down and actually live into the yellow light. And then when you see a green light, you're going to go at whatever pace feels good to you. So all of this is based on you and your own pace. So when I say red, you stop, yellow, slow down, green, you go. Does everyone understand? We're going to do a quick practice round, and then I'm going to say some things while you walk, okay? Or run or whatever you do. Just be careful of each other. All right, so let's do a quick practice round. Yellow light. Red light. Green light. Good. Okay, red light. Okay, so we all remember how this goes. So now I'm going to do that, and I'm going to give you some things I'm going to say some things to give you to think about. We're going to very much do what Ken talked about, this thinking and moving at the same time, and just go with it. If something comes up for you, don't push it aside. Just think about it. Whatever is stirring in you as you're moving, I invite you to welcome it, embody it, whatever it is that comes for you, okay? And green light. How many spaces are there where we feel like we're at a green light right now in our life? Maybe things are going so wonderfully, so well, and it's at a green and it feels really, really good. And then red light. And then it stops. Did we stop? Maybe not intentionally. Are we doing something to keep ourselves from going? Maybe someone else stopped us. Why? Did we need to stop? What is the stop? Green light. How difficult is it to go again after you've been at a red light? Am I going in the right direction? Did the red light raise some doubt? What does it mean? What does it look like? And how difficult is it to keep going with the uncertainty sometimes? Or maybe just the exhaustion of going on green for so long is not actually sustainable. Yellow light. What would it mean to just be in the yellow light for a while? To pause, to breathe, to take in what we might see along the way. What can we see in the yellow that we couldn't see in the green? And how often do we allow ourselves to be comfortable in the yellow? Or does the yellow just feel really uncomfortable, and why? Red light. So maybe after taking some time in the yellow, we realize that maybe there are some things that need to come to a stop. Maybe there are some things we need to let go. Maybe some things, as the book says, that we may need to let die so something else can live. And what might that need to be? Maybe that means we need to change course. So in a minute, we're going to do a green light, but I want you to turn around wherever you are, turn the other direction, and then green light. Yep. So what does it mean that we going in a new direction? Maybe we had a change of heart and now we're in a new direction. And how does it feel? Does it feel different? Does it feel good? What does it say for our journeys that we're on, where we're being called by God? Maybe it looks like a green. Maybe we need to be in another place, or maybe we need to find partners along the way. As you're walking, feel free to pick up a partner on the journey, but don't change the direction you're going for that partner. Don't change the direction you're going. I see you, burnt orange shirt. Don't change that direction. Because sometimes people are not always on the same journey as us, even though we may want them to be. And sometimes if we try to journey, we're going in opposite directions and neither one of us can move forward. So what does it mean that sometimes we have to adjust or change or shift or say, hey, maybe that was only for a season and maybe next season we can journey together. Okay. And red light. Take a deep breath in, let it out. All right, everybody have a seat. This will be our close in the last 5 minutes. Thank you all for participating in some red light, green light. So as you find your seat, talk to me. What was red light, green light like for you? What came up for you?
I took a deep breath on yellow.
Didn't it feel good to breathe? So good. What else?
I wanted to come out of the red light more at a yellow light. I felt myself easing back into the green light.
Yeah. Anyone else?
My green light space is slower than it was 30 years ago.
Good notice.
I'm slowing down the middle of the road or something.
I'm thinking about how I translate these embodied faith practices
to Zoom meetings or more likely hybrid meetings, which are such a struggle.
So even thinking about what we did today, so literally, if you want to do red light, green light, people can move in their own space, or you can just have people like move a part of their body, slow or quick. There are always ways that you can do a lot of these. Literally, I've had people, I've done the creative piece online and I said, hey, grab whatever's near you. Someone had a paper clip and a sticky note and they made it work. You just have them use whatever is around them to create, right? Just give space for play. Just give space to take a break. Space, you use breakout rooms, put people in teams and play charades, think strategies. I mean, there's so many different things. Share recipes over line. Literally, we've cooked online before. And like, I was like, can't you smell this macaroni and cheese? Doesn't it smell good? Right? I mean, there are lots of ways. It's just about being creative, seeing what works with the people that we're with, and really just living into the essence of this. Or if you have the funds, sometimes you can send like packages to people and you can create something together and then online, hey, look at the mandala I created, or look at X, Y, and Z, this plant that I planted. I mean, there's so many different ways that that you can do it now. I think it's just about being creative. You can play games like online. What's the name of the app? Discord is like a kind of a little bit of a gaming app where people can connect and do different things together. We just got to get a little bit more creative, I think, and see what works for different folks. Yeah, but I think that's a really great question, and you got to figure out what works in your space. Anything else? What else came up for us? Anything? And not just this one, but everything, because we're closing now. So.
Thank you, Lindsay. I enjoyed both the slow and the fast. But then I kind of pondered a little when you were talking about partnering up with people, but not changing direction. And I appreciated, like at first I started looking around, like grabbing anybody, but they weren't going the right direction. And then when there was somebody going the right direction, I had to kind of adjust my speed to partner up. And so it's like it starts me thinking like a different mindset or functionality, like what is the real goal of what we're doing, and the deeper value of doing it with others. Might be willing to sacrifice maybe some of the productivity, or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's actually a very powerful thought. So
yeah, that is so good. And the thing is it can really mean so many different things, right? So I've done this before when I've been like at team meetings for like, an organization I used to work with, and we use it to represent, where are we at on this project? Are we at a red, yellow, or green? And sometimes we're like, you know what, we're at a green, but it's not sustainable. I think we need to like reevaluate and move back to the yellow. And it was a really good way to talk about something without saying, like, without placing blame or without saying anything, but also a really easy way to say, hey, something also might need to move to the red and we might need to let it go without people feeling so much attachment. So it's a really great practice then, but also even thinking about, I've done this at like youth retreats. And one of those things is really good when you're talking about relationships, romantic or just friendships, right? Thinking about, well, what direction are you going in, and how everyone isn't meant to go that direction with you. Like, what does it mean to have space to adjust, to shift, or who you let in your space and why? Again, this whole, that can last for so much longer, right? You can change directions. You can do so many different things with a lot of these games. You're just getting a snippet here. But it's so much to think about if we are going this direction and we're inviting people and we say we're accessible, we say we're inclusive, but we're not ready to shift a little, then what does that say? Right. So I think you hit so many different points, right? With that one. So it can, again, this is so much, and I know our time is almost there, but this is so much, and it's that you can do so much with it. It's such a great practice. I really love the connection. I think we have one more comment, and then I'll get ready to wrap up because I want to appreciate your time. I know we're at time, so I think we have one more comment back there, Lindsay.
Yeah, I think you almost you already said what I wanted to say. I wanted to say that when I finished the red and I went into, each time you sent us to the yellow, it gave me time to just say, Fuchs, what's going on? Assessment time, especially after the green and going into the yellow and the orange time is like really an evaluation time, and just sometimes thanking God that I had to slow down and think about what's next.
Thank you. And again, I know our time is here, but thank you all for, one more thing about that is, Sometimes the yellow can feel uncomfortable because we're so used to going, but I'm actually going to challenge each and every one of you. Maybe you need a dare. Do you need a double dare, a pinky promise? Whatever you need me to do right now is to try to find some time for yourself in the yellow. In ministry, we are moving, going, always thinking about how we can give and serve. And just remember, you also need to be refilled too. Your cup needs to be filled too. You need time and space to be rejuvenated as well so that you can actually be more of service. You can't be of service when you are running on E, right? It's also not good for you. And that's also not what the Lord wants for us. The Lord doesn't want us running around on E. That's how we get burnt out. That's how we have mental health crisis. We also have to take care of ourselves, which means sometimes we need to delegate. Sometimes we have to practice the word no, which is a full sentence and a period at the end. That's it. And it's much harder to do in practice, but taking moments to find your yellow is really, really important for yourself, for your mental health, for your wellness, even if it's that cup of coffee with no calls, even if it's 5 minutes to do a breath prayer or to stretch, whatever that looks like for you, please be intentional. Carve out your time, your yellow space. You deserve it. You need it. Thank you all so much for coming to this workshop. Thanks the tech folks, shout out. Thank you, Lindsay, shout out. And Lindsay has been wonderful. Thank you all. I know Lucy and Catherine kind of made this possible so I could zoom in, even though I couldn't be there physically. So shout out to Catherine and Lucy. Shout out to all of you for still rolling with it, even though I'm just a big head on a screen right now and going with it. I appreciate you. I'm so thankful for you. Hopefully you have something you can take back. I will figure out how to make sure I can share this Prezi with you so that you can have the information if you like. And I believe I got the okay from Lucy and Catherine. I'm not sure if they're in the room right now, but I believe, so please double, are they in the room right now? One of them?
They're not, but are you about to say they can take an item if they want?
Yes.
Yes. You're
Yes.
more than welcome to take an item from whatever spoke to you with you,
Yes.
Catherine said.
Yes, because I want you all to take whatever item. It could be your work of art. It could be a hula hoop. And for those of you that want to take a hula hoop, it comes apart. So you can actually put it in your luggage if you flew or anything like that. So just know it's not just round. You can take it apart and then put it back together. But take whatever is going to remind you of the amazing time you had today, whatever is going to challenge you to make more space for play and embodied faith, whatever is going to help keep that front and center on your mind. Take it, put it on your desk, put it somewhere where you're going to remember and you're going to just be like, yes, I need to incorporate more of that. So take the thing. Have an amazing day. Thank you all so much. Lakisha Lockhart. I'm at Union Presbyterian Seminary. Feel free to email me with questions, comments, anything. Thank you all so much. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person to love on y'all, but thank you. You were wonderful. Have a great day.
We're so thankful for you.
Thank you.